Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jerry Willis. Tonight, Obama's big mistake doubling down. My 2 cents in just a minute. And the president takes to the road again. Wait until you hear his excuse this time for the sputtering economy. It's all your fault. Really? And we have brand new polls out on his job performance. Wait till you see that. Also, President Obama and his progressives in Congress, they want us to look more like Europeans. So why are there socialist politicians getting kicked out of office? We'll tell you exactly why from a man who knows. And the CEO who says higher taxes are good for you, he only has a job because you bailed out his company, and that company can only sell products because they get taxpayer subsidies. All that and more tonight on the Willis Report. And the only place next is up. Steve Malenga, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, more breaking news tonight. Lawyers for President Obama today tried to fight the biggest legal challenge yet to Obamacare, and they lost. A federal judge in Georgia backed the claims of 26 separate states, saying Obama's health care law is unconstitutional. They all agree. Individuals cannot be forced to buy health insurance. Here to weigh in is Colin Hanna, president of Let Freedom Ring. Colin, good to see you.
Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Excellent. Good to have you here. So what do you make of what's going on in this courthouse? I know you're following it closely. Are you encouraged? Are you discouraged?
Yeah, let's be clear here. An official position, a ruling was not handed down.
No.
What you're referring to are people's reactions to so-called reading the tea leaves, the expressions, the discussions, and so on with the judges. And it appears that all 3 judges were very skeptical of the government's claim that the individual mandate is constitutional, and rather sympathetic to the counterclaim from Paul Clement on behalf of 26 states and the National Federation of Independent Business, that this mandate is in fact unconstitutional, that it uses a power that Congress doesn't have to compel people to buy a product.
Colin, what do you think will be the ultimate resolution of that? Obviously, it's going to be decided in court. Do you think it'll be pro or against Obamacare?
Well, I think part of it will depend on exactly how carefully crafted some of these decisions are. I thought that Judge Vinson's decision in Pensacola was beautifully laid out. And it would appear from the early discussion today that these judges in this panel may also lay forth a very strong constitutional argument that the federal government does not have the power to compel U.S. citizens to buy a product. Furthermore, Jerry, if it did, if this was upheld, there's virtually no limit to what the Congress can compel. And that is so contrary to the powers vested in the federal government in the Constitution.
It's going to be interesting to see how it works out. Obviously, a major assault on Obamacare, but the reality is a lot of this law is already being integrated, already coming to pass. Just this week, McKinsey & Company came out with a study. They interviewed some 1,300 corporations, many of those corporations, in fact, 30%, who said, hey, we're getting rid of our health care insurance. Once Obamacare is phased in, we plan to deep six it. What do you make of that?
Well, exactly. I think that's one of many unintended consequences of this law. But again, we want to point out that that's not until 2013. So there are opportunities to strike down the whole thing before some of these almost irreversible actions take place.
Do you really believe that, Colin, though? I mean, how does that come to pass?
Well,
if the courts have not decided on the issue of the constitutionality of the mandate, are there other ways that Obamacare could be taken apart?
Well, I think there are, but I think that they're unlikely to ever pass either the Senate or the president's desk. So I think that the idea of legislatively dismantling Obamacare has no real currency until or unless President Obama loses re-election. But I do think that there will be a decision on the constitutionality issues raised in today's hearing well before the change of guard, so to speak, in the White House, if that happens. And that'll be before the 2013 implementation. So I think there's an opportunity for hope here. I really do.
Well, you sound very upbeat. You know, we're asking everybody tonight, what is your message of optimism? What's your silver lining? What do you see as the silver lining on Obamacare?
Well, I think it has refocused America on the difference between a government one-size-fits-all plan and what I think is a far better solution, which is expanding access to insurance to make health care more affordable through the free market. I think the public is getting that now in a way that it didn't a little over a year ago when Obamacare passed with wide public support. That public support is eroding, and I think we're going to see a very different public attitude towards government health care in the future, and maybe it'll set us on the right course to a free market solution.
Time will tell, and I'm sure we'll have you back to talk about it. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks a million, Jerry.
Meanwhile, General Motors, you remember them, the car company we bailed out with more than $50 billion in taxpayer money?